I've drawn some templates of the sidewall and end walls. The sidewalls are 8 feet tall and 18 feet long. The end walls are 8 feet tall on the sides, 19 feet 6 inches wide, and 13 feet 6 inches to the peak. The first step here is to square up the end of our board and batten siding. Okay, the caliper has been set to 8 feet wide. I'm going to have this spacer stick in here, and I am going to set up the fence. Okay, using the spacer stick, I've placed my board and batten siding on the table and pressed against the crosscut T. I'm going to remove the spacer. 13 feet 6 inches, which is the height of the front and rear walls. If we add the side walls behind the end wall, the height of the front wall will be exactly the height of the side wall. In 90% of the cases, I always try to build my walls in this fashion. Now, the only thing that you have to be aware of then is that you're going to have to subtract the thickness of your end walls from the total length of the side wall. Okay, I'm going to measure the thickness of the two side walls, and that comes in at 0.120. So we subtract the 0.120, which is the thickness of the end walls, from the 18-foot dimension, which is 2.475. That gives us 2.355 inches as the length that we need to cut the side walls. Now I have marked on the top where I'm going to make my cuts. Okay, now we will mark the sides. Okay, we know that the total width of the wall is 2.666, and I divided that by 2 to get 1.333. I set that up on my caliper, and I have measured the top, and comparing both sides, we see that this batten is the center. We put our blade right on the spot here, touch the ruler to it, and then bring the ruler right up to the mark on the top, on the peak. We put our razor blade right on the tip that we want to cut to. We bring our straight edge up, align it with the side, and then cut. Pretty matched up at the ends. Okay, I've taken some measurements off of the drawings in the book, and it appears that the center of the windows should be 4 feet from the ends, and they should be, the bottom of the windows should be 2 feet from the bottom of the wall. Okay, so we subtract these and we get that the distance from the edge of our wall to the center of the window should be 0.491. I've got my caliper set up for a 2-foot measurement, and I'm going to mark the bottom of the windows. Okay. Now let's draw the line here that will be on the bottom of the windows. So I'm drawing it lightly because we don't want this to show up later on. Now let's get the center lines drawn on here. Okay, I have scribed a center line on my window template. And now by lining up the center line and the bottom and the center line at the top, I can now mark the edges of this template. Okay, now we're ready to cut these window openings out. Here is the layout of the windows and doors on the ends. There's one window on each side and one door on each side. The windows are 2 feet 6 inches up from the base. The doors are 12 inches up from the base. The windows are 2 feet to the center of the window from the edge, and the door is 7 feet 6 inches from the side of the wall to the center of the door. The bottom of the windows on the front wall will be 2 feet 6 inches from the bottom of the wall. The door openings will be 12 inches from the bottom of the wall. Okay, we'll mark the window centers at 2 feet. And then we'll mark the door centers here at 7 feet 6 inches. Now we'll get our window template out and get it lined up with the center mark and the mark for the bottom of the window.